Okay, good. So we should be recording. Yep. Awesome. So welcome everyone. My name is Rabbi Dina Schaefer. I am the Executive Director of Forefront Baltimore, which is a community-wide Jewish teen initiative here in our city. And we've teamed up with our friends in Atlanta from JumpSpark to bring this awesome virtual college road trip to you guys all summer long and the whole month of June. Basically, we're profiling a whole bunch of different schools, 30 schools across the Mid-Atlantic and the South. And we're really, really excited tonight to be joined, as I mentioned, by Hallie and Suzanne at Temple. So that is basically the whole introduction. And without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Hallie, who is going to talk to us about Temple from the perspective of the admissions staff. Thanks, Hallie.
Thanks, Dina. It's nice to be here with you all virtually. I hope you're all doing well and staying cool wherever you are. I'm in Jersey and it's 93 and humid, so not super happy with that, but we'll just get started. I just shared my screen with you all, so hopefully you guys are seeing what I am seeing. But like Dina said, my name is Hallie. I'm a first-year admissions counselor at Temple. So what that means basically is our job is pretty cyclical. So in the fall, I'm out traveling to schools. I do travel to all of DC, Maryland, and Virginia, going to high schools, college fairs, things like that. Then when the time comes, we get to read all of those applications that for the students that we recruited in the fall. So I actually am a Temple alumni as well. I graduated from Temple in 2016. I transferred when I was a sophomore. I changed my major 4 different times while I was at school and eventually ended up with a degree in advertising. So we'll talk a bit about the major process and everything as well. But we'll just kind of dive right in here. So to understand Temple is to really understand our history. So we were founded back in 1884 by a man, his name was Dr. Russell Conwell. He was a preacher in a building that was then called the Temple Baptist Church. Today we call it Temple Performing Arts Center, otherwise known as TPAC. It's right on the corner, it's right in the middle of campus. So campus itself is in North Philadelphia. So North Philadelphia is about 1.5 miles away from Center City, Philly, which is kind of like the downtown of the city. So that's where the Comcast building is, City Hall, all the restaurants, the shopping, things like that. And our main campus is about 1.5 miles north of that. But back in 1884, like I said, Russell Conwell was a preacher in the Temple Baptist Church. And one day a man in his congregation went up to Russell and he was like, Russell, I really want to continue my education so I can better provide for my family, but I work all day long. Is there any way that you could tutor me at night? And being the very nice man he was like, of course I will, bring your friends. So legend has it that that man and 6 of his friends became the very first class of Temple College. They quickly gained the nickname of the Night Owls by the community since we were a night school. So come the year 1907, we officially became Temple University. We were the first school or college to adopt the owls as our mascot, as well as cherry and white as our colors. But Russell and his wife, Sarah, they really put their heart and soul into this university. They wanted to give the working class of Philadelphia a great education at an affordable price. And we are trying to ring true to that today in admission standards, which I will talk about in a bit. But our goal has always been to provide a great education and opportunities at an affordable value with access to this education. If you look in the corner here, we have our iconic Temple T. That is pretty iconic Temple, as I said. It's a big symbol for our university. It was actually created by a Tyler School of Art student back in the 80s. Represents a lot to different people. When I see the Temple T, I definitely see the Temple tenacity that all students have, the drive, the strength of the university, and the open ends of the T's really symbolize the free flow of ideas on Temple's campus and community. But we have come a very long way from just being a campus of 7 students. We now have a population of 28,000 students, undergraduate students alone. If you include our undergraduate and graduate students, we have about 40,000 students on campus, which I know sounds very overwhelming, but Temple does a great job of kind of giving you the best of both worlds. So you have this large university with this large population, and you have all the opportunities that comes with that, but you also have a small campus atmosphere. So the picture in the middle of your screen kind of gives you a good idea of what campus is like. Campus is really just one big square. It's about 1 mile by 1 mile. And it's really a traditional campus. So you kind of, like I said, get the best of both worlds, and that you still have access to Philadelphia and to Center City, but you do have this traditional college campus to call home. So you do have these brick walkways, the brick academic buildings, and all of that to your traditional college experience. But like I said, we are a pretty large university. So when you're an undergraduate student, you will be categorized into 12 schools or colleges. So the 17 number that you see here on your screen, that includes our undergraduate and our graduate schools. But 12 is just for undergrad. So when you are an undergraduate student here at Temple, your average class size will only be 29, which is pretty remarkable because we have that 28,000 high population of students. But a lot of times you will have a lecture style classroom. So lectures can range from 50 students all the way up to 300, which I know sounds overwhelming again, but those go hand in hand with what's called a recitation period. So recitation meets once a week in addition to or instead of that lecture hall. And that's where you meet in that small 28 class number. So you'll meet with a small group of peers to kind of just, you can think of lecture as where you sit and absorb all of your information, and then recitation is really where you're putting that information to work. So going over your tests and quizzes, going over homework assignments, having more hands-on experience with the material. Sometimes people don't like to ask questions in front of 299 others, but maybe you're more comfortable doing it in that small class setting. Another great statistic to note is the 13-to-1 student to faculty ratio. No matter the school or college, you are not just a number at Temple. We really want you to have a one-on-one experience with your professors and your peers and really get the most out of your education that you can. So when you are applying, you will be, as I said, categorized into one of those 12 schools or colleges. But we have over 150 majors to pick from. It's a very large number, and that number is constantly growing. Temple's always trying to add to their curriculum, whether that is for minors or for majors. So when you're applying, I know a lot of people have different ideas when you're applying to schools. I know when I was in high school, I had absolutely no idea what I wanted to major in. So if that sounds like you, that is totally okay. You can apply to Temple completely undeclared. You're going to apply to the university studies office. It's what all our students who are undeclared, that is where your school or college would be. So that's where your academic advisors will be. That's where you'll take a lot of aptitude tests, take some intro courses, things like that to figure out what your interests are. So if you do apply to Temple undeclared, you have up until the second semester of your sophomore year to pick your major. We give you this year and a half of this exploratory time because we do understand we have a lot to offer you. So we want to make sure that you're in the right major, you're in the right field that you want to be into. That way, if you need to change your major or pick up your minor, etc., you still have the option to do that and graduate on time. If you do want to double major or pick up a minor, that's something that you can do on campus when you're an enrolled student. If you know exactly what you want to major in your first day of school, that's wonderful. I'm pretty jealous of that. But you can apply to any of those 12 schools or colleges if you want to. So if you know that you want to be a political science major in our College of Liberal Arts, or you know you want to be a kinesiology major in our College of Public Health, you can apply directly to that program. For the most part, if you're admissible to the university, you're admissible to any of those schools or colleges and programs, except for a few. The Tyler School of Art and Architecture, some of those majors do require a portfolio piece with admission. Our Boyer College of Music and Dance could require an audition piece with admission. Our musical theater program and our School of Theater, Film, and Media Arts does require an audition. And then lastly, our nursing program is our most competitive. So they have a higher SAT, ACT, and GPA requirement that they look for in their students, which I'll go over in a minute. But other than those, if you are admissible to the university, you're admissible to all schools or colleges, including our Fox School of Business and our College of Engineering, which is great to know. But say you have an idea of what you want to do, but we don't have the exact major you want. That's okay. We are here to support you and whatever that means academically. So we do have what's called pre-professional health studies. So if you look at our list of majors, you'll notice that we don't have a pre-med major or a pre-veterinarian major or a pre-dental major. What we have is pre-professional health studies advising track. So what that means is it's an additional academic advisor who basically their only responsibility is to make sure your undergraduate career is on track for your graduate program. So you're taking the correct prerequisite classes, studying for your entry exams, getting a lot of preparation for those entry exams, et cetera. So you really have that, preparation for that next step. We also offer a lot of accelerated programs. So those could be 4+1 programs, 3+2 programs, 4+2 programs that have you graduate with an undergraduate and graduate degree faster to really speed up the success you can have after graduation. A big part of Temple's experience for students, though, is experiential learning. So we really believe that learning does not stop in the classroom. You're going to be learning pretty much all the time when you're on campus, whether that's with meetings with your professors or group projects with your peers, or maybe you have an internship in Center City. We don't want your experience to just be dedicated to the books. We want you to be out in the industry, out in the field, really exploring the major that you're interested in. That way, you know that's what you want to do. Sometimes you don't know what you want to be doing or what you don't want to be doing until you're actually doing it. So hopefully this experiential learning that we do offer gives you that opportunity to experience it before you actually graduate and do it for a living. So you have a few ways to do that. Number one is going to be through research. So Temple is a top tier research institute. We are identified as an R1 Carnegie classification of research. So that's the top 2% in the US. So we have some of the best researchers in all fields of study, not just science related, coming onto Temple's campus, utilizing our facilities, but then we also in turn have them teach you as students. So you're going to be learning from their experiences, you'll be learning from their research and their findings, and then you have also the option to get involved in research yourself, no matter, again, your discipline. So if you're in the College of Education, you could still do research there. A great example is one of our students who was in the Boyer College of Music and Dance, was very interested in Italian composition of music. So she actually got to be able to go to our Temple Rome campus, present all of her research at a lot of different conferences, and still with all of that within a Temple student, within Temple's curriculum. We also have a lot of internship opportunities as well. Being so close to Center City, Philadelphia, there really is an excuse to not get that professional development opportunities while you're at school. So we have a great career center on campus that can help you find all of that, even though a lot of students nowadays use LinkedIn and other connections that they might have. But getting that internship is really going to help your resume stand out after you graduate from college, even though I know that's a couple years away from you guys. But having that opportunity to be able to do that will really help you in the long run and help you get that professional development. With that said, a lot of professors that we have here at Temple are adjuncts. So what that means is that they're still teaching full-time, they're still working full-time or maybe working part-time and then teaching on the side. So already in class, you're networking, you're knowing someone in the industry. They could know someone who needs an intern next semester. They might need an intern over the summer. So you can, in your classes already, you're knowing someone in the industry and really being able to utilize that as your network. So as I said, main campus is going to be in North Philadelphia. So we have a different couple of campuses that I want to highlight. So main campus is where most of our students will reside. That's where most of our students will spend majority of their time as well. We do have a Center City campus in Center City, Philadelphia. That's going to be right at City Hall. A lot of students will take SEPTA, which is our subway ride down to City Hall to take these classes, or we have a free shuttle that runs every hour on the hour for free. We also have a campus in Ambler, Pennsylvania. It's about 40 minutes west of campus. It's an active arboretum, and it's home to our landscape architecture and our horticulture program, if that is any of your interest. Like I said, though, it is an active arboretum, so it's a beautiful campus. So if you want to get out of the city for a day or two of your week, you can take some classes at this Ambler campus if you choose to. And then we also have our health sciences campus about 2 miles north of main campus. It's where Temple University Hospital is, medical school, dental school. So a lot of our nursing students and those pre-professional health majors will spend a lot of their time at Temple University, at our health sciences campus, getting some clinical hours under their belts. But then we also have 2 abroad campuses in Rome and in Tokyo. So these are wonderful options for students to study abroad. No matter where you go to school, please take advantage of study abroad opportunities. It's probably my biggest regret of my college career, but since I transferred and then changed my major too many times, wasn't in the cards for me. But that doesn't have to be the case for you. We do have a first-year experience program with Temple Rome. So if you want to spend your first full academic year in Temple Rome, you're welcome to do so. We also have our Temple Japan campus as well in Tokyo. So this is actually a 4-year degree awarding campus. So if you want to spend all 4 years in TUJ, you're welcome to do that. If you want to just go for a semester or maybe a summer, you can do that too at TUJ. Temple Japan is actually the oldest foreign university in Japan, which is awesome. And it's all in English. So you don't have to worry about the language barrier at all. But if you do want to go abroad, but you don't want to go to Temple Rome or Temple Tokyo, we won't hold it against you. You can pretty much go anywhere in the world you want to. This map on your screen just basically shows a list of some places. If we showed you every place, you probably wouldn't be able to tell that it's a map anymore, but we've sent students pretty much everywhere for any length of time. The Study Away office has done a great job of making studying away or abroad an option for students no matter your major. So you do have that option no matter the rigor of your program. But say you're a little too apprehensive to go all the way across the pond. We get it. It is a long way from home. So we do offer a study away program as well. So a lot of students will go to New York City for a semester, or maybe go to Washington, D.C. or out to LA. Still be Temple students, but they're interning and they're going to conferences and they're networking while they're studying away. So if they want to go to these places after they graduate, they do have that connection that they can follow up on, which is awesome. We do love to say that owls are everywhere, and it's very true. We have over 130 countries represented on our campus and over 3,000 international students. We also have about 340,000 alumni around the globe. So in the Philadelphia area alone, we have about 157,000 alumni. That's 1 in 7 working Philadelphians. So no matter where you go, you will always have that connection, which is awesome. We do, as much as we do want you to come to Temple, we do want to graduate, and we want you to graduate, and we want you to do that in 4 years. So kind of coming full circle, we are still trying to reign true to Russell Conwell in keeping this education at an affordable price. So we implemented what's called a Fly in 4 program a few years ago. So what that means is basically, if you're doing everything you're supposed to as a student, so you're meeting with your academic advisor once a semester, registering for the correct classes on time, you're maintaining a good GPA. If for some reason you don't graduate in 4 years because of an error on Temple's end, Temple will actually pay for that remaining class for you to take. So it's a really great incentive for students to be a part of, making sure that you sign up for that for orientation, because not everyone is automatically signed up for that. But it is really great incentive for you to graduate in 4 years. Just checking on time. Are we okay?
Yeah, you're doing great. We did have a couple of questions in the chat that might be interesting to address now, and we'll also, as I mentioned, we'll have time for Q&A later, so don't feel like you have to put everything in the chat, but feel free to use it. Hayden asked, what percentage of classes are taught by graduate students? Because you had referenced before that some courses are. And Stephen asked a great question, whether all of the majors that are offered in Philadelphia are also offered in Tokyo and Rome in your global campuses.
Yeah, great question. So not every major will be offered at Temple Rome or Temple Tokyo. There are some majors, I believe most of them are going to be business related, that you can complete at TUJ for all 4 years. But most of the time students will study abroad to get like those gen ed courses out of the way, which I'll talk about when we go over the admissions process. But those are just like your required courses that help you become a well-rounded learner. So like your math, science, history, English, all that. So most students will go abroad to fulfill those credits, but most major courses will be at home on main campus. Like I said, there are some degrees that you can start and complete at Temple Japan. Temple Rome, though, there's no program that you can start and complete at Temple Rome, because I'm sure like everyone would want to be there all the time. For the classes taught by TAs, most of the time those will just be those recitation courses. So there won't be any like lecture or major courses that are just taught by TAs only. Most of the time it'll go hand in hand with those lectures. So your lecture will be taught by your professor, and then your recitation could potentially be taught by a TA, but they work very closely with your professor, or their students who like took the class in the past and did well, so they kind of know what the class is about.
Cool.
Yeah.
Can we switch gears a little bit and hear a little bit from both Susan, and I see now that we're joined by Abby, who is a current student and originally from Baltimore and a BT alum. It's awesome. So glad to meet you, Abby. And then at the end, can we go back to some of the admissions requirements? Is that cool?
Totally. Yeah. Okay. I can.
Awesome.
I'll stop sharing my screen if that works. Okay. Cool.
Sure. So I want to take a couple minutes just to, as we're pausing on the academic side, and switch over to some of the more campus life aspects of being a student at Temple. So maybe I don't know, Susan, do you want to introduce yourself and share a little bit, and then we'll give Abby a platform to also talk about what it's like to be a student at Temple?
Sure. Can I share my screen? I have a short presentation too.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can figure out how to do it. Hold on. Okay. Share screen. Okay. So, can everybody see that?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, cool. So, hi everyone. I'm Susan Becker, and I'm the assistant director at the Hillel at Temple University. And I think probably a lot of you might have heard of Hillel, but I don't want to assume that anybody knows what it is. So here's the definition taken from Hillel International. Hillel is the largest Jewish student organization in the world. They have chapters on more than 550 colleges and universities. And it is really Hillel International for real. It's on a lot of campuses in North America, Canada. There are chapters on campuses in Israel, Russia, Poland, Brazil, tons of places. So this is just a little bit about our specific Hillel, and I thought it was really interesting that Hallie talked about the T logo, the iconic T for Temple logo. We just rebranded our Hillel, and we have our new logo up here, which is modeled after the Temple T, but it's a hay for Hillel, and it has kind of a lot of the same symbolism as the T, that there's like that open space for students, and so I just wanted to shout that out. So these are just some things about our Hillel. So we have events for students to come to, and all of our events, we're very proud of being student-led. We work with our student leaders, and I'm sure Abby will talk more about this as a student leader herself. We work with them. We do have a staff, but the staff is really just there to support the students and, give them the things they need and help them access the things they need to plan programs and events for other Jewish students on campus. We have Jewish holiday programming, Shabbat services every week, and free Shabbat dinners. I put on here seders, Purim parties, anything you can think of for, the Jewish holidays. We have a kosher cafe in our building, which not every Hillel has, so we're very happy to have that. They take meal swipes, meal plans, diamond dollars, which is Temple's own little cash system, and also just regular money. So a lot of our students like eating there, and if you do keep kosher, it's a great option. Tons of leadership positions available at Hillel. We always want our students to step up and lead as much as they can or want to. Lots of internships, things to put on your resume, things that might be of interest to you or relate to what you're studying, things like that. We also offer funding to do your own events. Maybe you want to have a Shabbat dinner in your apartment with 5 of your friends. You can apply to get money from Hillel for that, and we're happy to support students in doing that. Also, if you want to start your own group or club underneath Hillel, that's a great thing too. We had last year a group called L'chaim form, which is made of all pre-health majors, all different things in the health field. They started their own little group. We have a ton of opportunities to travel. We do 2 birthright trips per year to Israel, also other trips to Israel that are not birthright, and also trips to other places. Last year we did, or actually I think it was 2 years ago now, we did a trip to Poland to see the concentration camps and some of the different Holocaust memorials and things like that. We have classes at Hillel, some of them end with a stipend. If you go through the whole class, some don't. And of course, I had to put on here free food because all college students love free food, and we have tons of it at our Hillel. And I'll just show you here on this screen. You can see one of our birthright groups in this top picture here. This lower picture here was a group at a Temple football game tailgate. So we've done events like that. And then of course, Shabbat dinner down here in this bottom corner. Here's Abby right here. giving 2 thumbs up, wearing the yellow shirt. So yeah, lots of fun stuff. This is just, I just kind of wanted to quickly explain our student leadership structure. We have a president, who's actually Abby, and we have a vice president, and then we have 6 student boards. So these boards focus each on something different, as you can see here. These are the things that they focus on. The newest board is our wellness board. We kind of found out 2 years ago that that was a big need for our students. So we implemented that. So, you know, whatever you're interested in, there's probably a board that you can join to help plan programs around. And I just also, oh, I have some more pictures here. These are just some different things. There's a Purim party. This was an open mic night we had. These are some students cooking for, cook for a friend, which the meals basically go to like Meals on Wheels. Over here are some students at the Jewish Relief Agency in Philadelphia, where they pack boxes of food to deliver to people that are food insecure. And then I had to just include something about what we're doing right now, because it's a really weird time, as many of you know, and a lot of college campuses have gone kind of online for the time being. So ever since mid-March, when Temple went to remote learning, we've been doing like online Hillel at home. So we've still continued our online cohort learning. I think this picture was from oh, actually, no, this was a birthday reunion. Anyway, we've done hangouts on Zoom, TV watching, crafting, cooking, just fun things, you know, in addition to educational things. We did a little senior graduation celebration, because unfortunately our seniors were not able to celebrate with us in person. We've done some young alumni engagement online, weekly yoga classes, Israeli culture, and more. So I just kind of wanted to highlight that even though things are a little bit different now, we're still chugging along and still enjoying Hillel. So should I introduce Abby?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So as I said, Abby is our student president at Hillel. She's from Baltimore, so I thought she'd be perfect for this call. Yeah, she's amazing. And she's a great example of a Jewish Temple student. So go for it, Abby.
Hey, I'm Abby. I am going into my junior year at Temple. I love every minute of it. Like Susan said, I am currently the president of Hillel. So what that means is I oversee all of the boards that Susan so wonderfully talked about. I'm trying to think about what else I need to tell you about. There's so many things. I get so excited. I think it's funny though that I'm wearing the same color shirt. I was laughing at myself. I wear the same thing every day. Sorry, I was a little bit late. I was coming back from babysitting. So like I said, I am the president of Hillel. So the way that I got to Hillel is a little funky. So I went to Beth Tefillah. I don't know if any of you know it. It's a Jewish day school in Pikesville. Pretty little. I graduated with 60 kids. So if you are a private school kid or a little school kid, I hear you, I see you. And I knew that I wanted the big school experience. And I visited Maryland and I visited Ohio State and Pitt and all of these huge, massive schools, and was like, oh my God, I love the energy here. I love everything that I'm feeling here. But I feel like it's going to take me an hour to cross campus, because it would. And then I visited Temple, and I've already loved Philadelphia. All of my friends from sleepaway camp, I went to Ramah, if you know it. All of my friends from sleepaway camp lived in the greater Philadelphia area. So I grew up visiting Philly, traveling here, loving it. And one of my friends mentioned that I should apply to Temple. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I came to visit Temple, and it was actually around Sukkot time. And the first thing that I noticed when I walked onto campus was the sukkah on top of Hillel, because we build a giant sukkah on top of our building because we have a rooftop. And I noticed that and was like, hey, whoa, there's Jews here. And then I also bumped into our Chabad rabbi, and also met him, and I said, oh, I can be Jewish here. So I came to campus and love every second of it. So let me look at my list of things that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Jewish life on campus is awesome. I could talk about it forever. And like, I'm not like trying to be cheesy or anything, because I think that you guys should just see it for yourselves. But the community that is fostered at Hillel is so special. Like, it's so special, because everyone looks different. Everyone is from a different background. No two people have the same experience, which is the most amazing thing, especially in a Jewish community. And in Baltimore, like, we're really strong Jews. We do so many things, and we're so active, and our Jewish community is so vibrant and beautiful. And it's really similar to the Jewish community in Philadelphia. That like loving being Jewish and loving doing all of those things, and that love for Judaism, regardless of your background, whether or not you're a Jewish day school kid like I was, or if you're a Hebrew school kid, or if you're just exploring how your Jewish identity fits into things, that's what Hillel can do for people. I had a girl who came to Hillel with me almost every week for Shabbat dinners. She went on my birthright trip with me, and she had pretty recently found out that she was Jewish and was just exploring things and looking for a place to be. And we got to the Western Wall, and she said, like, I just want to thank you for taking me to Hillel dinner and going on birthright with me. That's the kind of stuff that you get. It's really cheesy and it warms your heart. But you make really spectacular friends. So now that I'm done with the cheesy parts, I will talk a little bit more about just like being on campus as a student leader. So we have a lot of things going on. They're really awesome. Hillel does a really good job of working with people in the community. So let me check the chat really quickly. Yeah, so like Stephen asked in the chat, everyone is welcome at Hillel. That's the beauty of it. It is made for Jewish students, and we have Jewish programming, but we're never gonna say like, oh, you're not Jewish, get out. Like, that is not how we roll. We want people to see the beauty of our Judaism and to see how our building works, and be a link to the community outside of Hillel. So like, bring your non-Jewish friends to Shabbat dinner. I'd love to meet them. Like, bring your roommates, bring everyone. I love seeing people coming into our building that have never been there before. That's the best part of my day, because I'm there every single day. But bring everyone is welcome. And ask a lot of questions. Ask so many questions. We love answering questions. And then Hayden asked a question, what is the Reformed Jewish community like? What is the percentage of Jewish students? How many students are in Hillel? So those are really awesome questions. So thank you for that. The Jewish community is awesome and diverse. Like I said, we have 2 different kinds of services on Friday nights before our free Shabbat dinner. You do not have to go to services to go to dinner, and you don't have to go to dinner if you go to services. That's the beautiful thing about it. So we have a Reform service led by one of our awesome service leaders. Their name is Emily Martyr. And then we have another service where we have a rotating leader. Usually it's our rabbi in residence. His name is Michael. He's great. And that's our conservative service. Sometimes we do it together. Sometimes we do it separately. Sometimes we come together just at the end. It's really how the service is going. Sometimes it's just a discussion and we don't even like open a siddur. That's really, we go with the flow. We're very chill when it comes to our Judaism. It's never, let's shove this down your throat and make you believe whatever, because everybody believes different things. And that's really what Hillel is all about. I guess I'm trying to think about what I would have wanted to hear. I don't know. I mean, I did Stack in high school. I don't know if you guys still have Stack. Dina, do they still have Stack?
We do, but not everyone on the call is from Baltimore.
Oh, okay, cool. So Stack was this like Jewish student lobbying program, basically, where you learn about Jewish ideals and you apply it to advocating for bills in the government. So we went to Annapolis and like lobbied for bills. And we also got to take a trip to DC, which was awesome. Highly recommend if you have the opportunity to participate in it. But that was kind of the first time that I realized that being a student leader was really great, and the beauty of merging the love that I had for being a student leader and the love that I had for being Jewish. It organized itself so beautifully. And then I got to campus, and I knew what I wanted to do. I knew where I wanted to go. But like, I think thinking about the Jewish community on campus is a really big deal. I didn't think that I was going to want it. I didn't think that I was going to need it as much as I did. I got to campus and was kind of iffy. I was like, okay, I'm going to go to Shabbat dinner sometimes. I'm going to do like some things, and ended up not, and ended up really miserable. Because my mom wasn't there to say like, okay, it's time to light candles. My mom wasn't there to say like, you should probably keep kosher. Like it was all on me. It was all on my shoulders. And that's a really scary thing that you don't realize. But I took the first semester and kind of moved myself around and tried to figure things out. And then went into Susan's office one day and was like, hey, I'm Abby, remember me? And she did, which was awesome and made me feel super duper special. And we talked for a really long time about what role I could play in Hillel. And I ended up being Shabbat and Holidays president. So I was the one that did all of the dinners and all of the holidays and everything. I did that for 2 semesters. And then this past semester, I ran and won for president, which is super awesome. And I'm very happy in my position. It makes me not want to leave school ever because I don't want to do anything else. But yeah. Dina, are there other things that you wanted me to cover, or do you think I got it?
No, I think that was great.
I'm sorry I talked for so long. I love Hillel.
No, that's awesome. That's precisely why we wanted you to join us.
I've been talking to toddlers all day, so like it's nice to talk like a person.
No, that's fantastic. It's like it's very clear to see your passion, and I hope that that's something these students who are on the call sort of take away from this experience. We did have a question in the chat about what is LGBT plus acceptance like, both in Hillel and on campus in general? I don't know, Abby, if you can speak to that. Maybe Susan or Hallie, you have comments on that too?
So our campus, in my personal experience, is super accepting. We are very fervent on everyone deserves the right to equality, and everyone is free to live the way that they want to and the way that they were born to, which I think is super important. And that vibe that you get on campus, that like everyone, like you see people walking around like in everything. It'll be like 90 degrees, and if somebody wants to wear a sweatshirt and sweatpants, nobody cares. Like the beauty of it is that you're so free to be who you are, and you feel that energy everywhere on campus. And then you step into Hillel's building and it amplifies because we have support groups, we have members of the LGBTQ plus community that are involved in Hillel, deeply involved in Hillel. We have open and honest discussions. We have a big sticker on the front of our door that says like, this is a safe space, because it is. Everyone is welcome to be who they are. And you should never feel unsafe, especially on our campus and especially in Hillel, to be somebody that you're not. No one is ever going to tell you like, don't act that way. Especially in Hillel, that's something that like I think Susan can really attest to, that in our community, any form of hatred or bigotry is unacceptable. And that is kind of our motto at Hillel, that come as you are, come in what you want to wear, who you are. We love it. We want to see it. We want you to be involved and do whatever you want to do. So yeah.
I would just add one more thing. That was very well said, Abby. At Temple we have something on campus called the Ideal Office, which is basically it's like diversity. They have different trainings and different things that help with acceptance of various minority groups and things like that. And I just wanted to add that I think most, if not all of our staff have been trained through the Ideal Office to make, like Abby said, our building a safe zone. I'm pretty sure most of us have. So I just wanted to add that we're very like cognizant of being trained and knowing the right way to treat everybody.
Could you also speak a little bit about mental health resources on campus and acceptance and support in that area? Maybe Hillel, you want to take that question?
Yeah, you both hit the nail on the head with everything that you guys were talking about. Just to kind of go off what Susan was saying, if you're ever in like a club or organization that you feel like people are being insensitive or like they're not realizing what they're doing, the Ideal office can come to your student org and have a whole like diversity training, which is really helpful. We have in the admissions office, we have them like once, probably twice a year, like in the fall and then in the spring. So those are really helpful. But for mental health support and access, we have them all throughout campus. So we have what's called settlement counseling services. That's free to students. It's included in your student fees. So if you ever need to go to talk to someone confidentially, you're welcome to do that. We also have what's called our Wellness Resource Center, where you can actually talk to a peer counselor. Sometimes college students feel like, how can someone who's so much older than me relate to what I'm going through as a college student? But with these peer advisors who go through intensive training, you have access to all of that. And it is, as I said, free with your student fees. So you can talk to either a peer mentor or a professional. It's totally up to you, but everything is free and confidential, and there's no like pressure or anything. But now that everything is virtual, you still can call people and have Zoom meetings if you want to as well. So I'm sure once things kind of go back onto main campus, those will still be accessible to students. So if you don't want to come onto campus, you can still call someone or Zoom them and get all the help that you need.
Amazing. Anything to add from, Susan, you talked about the wellness board, but anything else to add from Hillel's perspective on that?
Not really. I mean, like I said, we kind of found that it was a need amongst our students, and many of them do use the services that Hallie was talking about, but the wellness board has planned various things to help kind of students, cope. We've done like art therapy. We did a dog therapy. We brought a dog in. We've done like meditation, things like that. So that's just sort of like on top of all the things that Temple offers.
The dogs were the best part of finals week.
We also have really awesome staff members at Hillel and all over campus, honestly, that are more than willing to sit with you and listen. I've found that whenever I've said that I'm in need, that there's like 6 people jumping up to help me. And then I think somebody put a question in the chat. Do we get Jewish holidays off? So we don't, because we're a public university. However, if you are finding that you're struggling to get accommodations for getting holidays off, you are more than welcome to come into Hillel and say like, could you write me a note or make an email? But mostly like I've always done it where on my first day of classes, I go up and I introduce myself to my teachers at the end. I say like, hi, I'm Sullivan, nice to meet you. Just so you know, I'm a Jewish student. These are the days that I'm gonna need off. Or I won't be in class, like not even asking. I just say like, I won't be here. And like 9 times out of 10, they're going to be like, okay, cool. Just do the work and we're fine. If you have an issue, which you shouldn't, come talk to us. We're more than happy to advocate for you, write an email, do whatever we need to. But like your observance shouldn't stand in the way of you going to class.
Amazing. Other questions? Otherwise, I know we have about 10 minutes left, and we didn't get to the part about admissions requirements and how application processes and stuff like that. So I know Hallie's prepared to talk about that. If folks want to hear about it, we could do like a clap reaction if you want to hear about that. Otherwise, feel free to keep asking questions.
No pressure. We can, yeah. If you want, okay, we have some claps, so we can do that. I also, I'm gonna send Dina the slides afterwards. So if you want to take a look back, you can do that towards the end. This won't be too quick though. So when you're applying to Temple, you're evaluated for a couple of things. You're evaluated for admissions, you're evaluated for our honors program, and you're evaluated for merit-based scholarships. Our application process is pretty straightforward, I would say. We are Common App exclusive. So as of August 1st, 2020, our application for fall 2021 and spring 2021 will be available on the Common App. So when you apply, you have a couple of decisions to make. So number one is you want to determine when you want to apply and how you want to apply. So at the bottom, you'll see two different deadlines. So we have an early action deadline and a regular decision deadline. Early action deadline is November 1st. There's no difference in how a student is evaluated for early action or regular decision. The only difference is when you hear a decision by. So if you apply to us before November 1st for early action, you'll hear a decision no later than January 10th, which is really nice. If that seems too soon for you, or you're taking a later SAT or ACT date, you can apply regular decision. So that deadline is February 1st. Keep in mind that if you, the early action applicants do take priority. So if you're applying in September or October, there's a possibility you won't hear back until February or March, keeping in mind that those early action applicants have priority. So if you are applying that early, you might as well just apply early action and get a decision sooner. If you apply regular decision, you'll hear back about 6 to 8 weeks after you submit and complete your application. So once you hit submit on your application, about 48 hours later, you will receive an email from us that prompts you to create what's called a TU portal account, which is very important to the admissions process. It's pretty much how we as the Office of Undergrad Admissions communicate with students throughout the entire process. You can see exactly where your status of the application is, all of the requirements we have or haven't gotten from you. And then once you are a Temple student, you're on TU portal a lot. So it is nice to navigate that early in the process. So apply is number one. 1A is set up your portal account. Number 2 is complete your self-reported high school transcript. This is a newer thing in the college process, but basically we don't need your official high school transcript from your high school just yet. So you're going to go on your TU portal account and basically copy your transcript. So you're going to put the classes you took, your 9th grade, 10th grade, and 11th grade, the type of class it was. So if it was an honors class, an AP class, an IB class, etc., dual enrollment, and then the grade you got in that class will then recalculate everyone's GPA to be on the same 4.0 weighted scale. And then for your senior year classes, we just want to see what classes you're taking. Like I said, at that point, we don't need your official transcript. Once you've been accepted and decide to enroll with us, then we will request the official transcript from your high school. Number 3 is going to be your test scores, or if you want to submit them or not. We are test optional. Temple has been test optional for the past 5 years now. And with everything going on with the SAT and ACTs being canceled, we don't want that to stop you from applying. So we have a holistic review process. So that means we look at everything you submit to us. So we're looking at your transcripts, your rigor of your classes, your student profile, your letters of recommendation, everything that you submit. So if you choose to not submit your test scores to us, we'll just take a bit of a deeper dive into all of that information and make a decision without your test scores. Your personal statement is also a requirement. Please work smarter, not harder in this regard. So if you are applying to multiple schools that have similar prompts, you are welcome to use the same essay. You don't have to write a different essay for every school, but please make sure that you're saying the correct school in the essay. For Temple, it's not going to make or break your application. It's just a way for us to get to know you a bit beyond the transcript and see what you'll bring onto our campus. Like I said, nothing to make or break your application, but just make sure to edit that. And then your application fee, we do offer fee waivers if you are in need of one. It's right on the application itself on the Common App, which is really nice. This is going to be the average student profile. This is just an average. These are not minimums. These are not requirements. We've admitted students below and above these averages. So the average GPA is a 3.54, SAT is a 1238, and ACT is a 27. We do super score the SAT, not the ACT. If you take the SAT and the ACT, just send us over all of your scores. We're pretty much going to pick whichever one makes you look better in the applicant pool. And then below that, you'll see the honor student profile. Like I said, all students who apply to us are automatically considered for the honors program. There is no separate checkbox or application or anything. Average GPA is a 3.94, SAT is a 1448, and ACT is a 32. If you apply test optional, so without your test scores, you are still eligible for the honors program. Being a part of the honors program, it's just a program. It's not a school or a college, which is a bit different than other schools, but you basically have a smaller class size of about 17 to 19 students, which just encourages more of a discussion-based classroom setting. So it's not necessarily harder in rigor, but it is more critical thinking based and requires some more participation. If you don't get in as a high school student to the program, you do have up until the second semester of your sophomore year to apply to the honors program, and then you can graduate with honors, which is always exciting. And then here's going to be the money, which is always super fun to talk about. We have what's called differential tuition here at Temple. So what that means is all of those 12 schools or colleges that I talked about, they all have different tuitions. So we are on a tuition freeze right now. This is the second year that the Board of Trustees has had a tuition freeze for Pennsylvania residents and the first year for out-of-state and international. So these are just averages, the baselines, but keeping in mind that these can fluctuate. So same thing with a room and board. We have 3 different styles of housing for first-year students. The housing website has really great 360 virtual tours for all of the options that I encourage you all to explore after this. But if you go to the Bursar website, it will give you a really great, helpful tuition calculator. So if you have an idea of what you want to major in at Temple, where you want to live on campus, the meal plan you want to have, et cetera, the Bursar website, that tuition calculator can give you a better personalized estimate to what your tuition and fees might be. And then lastly, scholarships. Financing your education is always important, and there's a lot of things that students can be doing now. But like I said, once you are applying to Temple, you're automatically screened for a merit-based scholarship. So to be eligible, you want to exceed all of these averages that you see here on your screen. A good rule of thumb is the higher you are above these averages, the more money you could be considered for. So our merit-based scholarship is going to range from $1,000 a year all the way up to full 4-year tuition if you continue to stay in good standing with us, which is awesome. Just be sure to apply to us before February 1st to be considered. But if you are applying test optional, as I said, you are automatically screened for that as well. Below that is going to be our financial aid information. Our need-based aid is going to be based off of the FAFSA, so your free application for federal student aid. It opens on October 1st, and be sure to fill that out for Temple before February 1st. We kind of, as an office, like to encourage all high school students to have all of the FAFSA information completed by Halloween. It's just a good date in your mind to remember and to keep in mind, but we are a need-blind institution. So what that means is when I'm looking at an application, I don't know if the student has applied for merit aid or not. So it doesn't matter to us if you applied to financial aid or not. About 75% of last year's need was met by students, which is awesome. But there is a lot that you can do now as high school students. 2 great websites to explore are fastweb.com and myscholly.com. There really is a scholarship out there for everybody. My best example is that my boss has 2 twin daughters. They're both great at math and great at running, and they really just got scholarships for being twins that run well who are good at math. So there really is something out there for everyone. And I know I sound like a Geico commercial, but 15 minutes of research could save you $1,500. And with your loans, that is a lot of money. If we can't offer you a merit aid when you're applying to Temple, the road does not stop for you there. Abby can maybe speak to her experience. I know from my experience, there was just so many scholarship opportunities to take a look into. It's just a matter of 1, take the initiative to look for them when you're on campus, and then 2, apply to them. You don't, like Gabby was talking about her mom not being there to encourage her to do all of her things. You don't have your parents there to encourage you to apply for scholarships as well. So it might be, ripping down a piece of paper from a bulletin board or following up with an email from someone, but there's always going to be that for you, especially if you want to study abroad. There's a lot of scholarship money that kind of just goes to waste because students don't know about them, but getting a head start now when you're in high school can be really beneficial. Also, if your parents, through their jobs, they might have some committees that can help finance your education. So that's another thing to take a look into as well. But that kind of is all that I have. If you have any questions for me or any admissions related questions, feel free to email askanow@temple.edu. I know that this was very information heavy. So if you want to take a look on campus, we do have a really great virtual tour that we now offer, which is just on our admissions website. So if you want to pretend you're on campus, because I miss it so much, you can just pretend to be there and do that on our admissions website. And same thing for housing. Housing really has great options for the 360 virtual tours as well. We don't know when we'll be able to get back onto campus, but hopefully these videos can suffice for now.
Wow, this was amazing. Hallie, Abby, Susan, thank you so much for sharing your school with us. What a wonderful place to spend 4 years. I hope that some of you guys really consider applying and consider what it might be like to be a Jewish student on this campus. We'll be sending out some follow-up information as well with a link to this recording and also the contact information that you see here, as well as Susan's contact information should you want to reach out and follow up. And we're just really grateful to the three of you and to all of you for joining us tonight. You can check out our website, roadtriptocollege.com, to find the rest of the sessions that we'll be doing all month long, or you can check out Forefront Baltimore's socials, which is just at Forefront Baltimore with the number 4, and see all the schools that we're profiling on the road trip. Thanks everyone, and happy summer, and hopefully you'll all get back to campus really, really soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.